The 141st commencement of Boston University is now in order. Please rise for the national anthem to be led by Miss Melanie Burbulis, who is graduating with her bachelor's degree in music from the College of Fine Arts. Following the anthem, please remain standing for the invocation.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
The invocation will be delivered by the Reverend Dr. Robert Allen Hill, Dean of Marsh Chapel. Thereafter, President Brown will preside over the ceremony.
Let us bow in a spirit of prayerful meditation. O thou Spirit of love and life, prayerfully we thank you for the hands that carried our clothes into the freshman dorm, for the voices over the phone that encouraged us when we were low, for the arms that reached forward and embraced when we came home, for the friends who helped us become our best, our ownmost selves, for the professors who listened and spoke formative words, and for moments of wonder, snow on the public garden, sails on the River Charles, wind to chill and cheer on the Esplanade, light at twilight, light at dawn, light in cloud, light in sun, for thy light in which we see light. O thou who is loving us into love and freeing us into freedom. Spirit of life and love, prayerfully, we thank you for your lasting divine blessing. May our lives from this day forward be a daily invocation in the spirit of the old hymn. 'Tis a gift to be loving, 'tis the best gift of all. Like a gentle breeze, love cools and blesses all. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning, we come round right. Amen.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, and welcome to Boston University's commencement exercises. It is a pleasure to welcome the graduates and their guests, and also to welcome those of you who are joining us via broadcast on the radio and on the internet. I now present Ms. Tariana Gilbo, a senior who will receive her bachelor's degree from the College of Communication. She will speak on behalf of the class of 2014. Ms. Goodball.
Thank you, President Brown. Trustees, faculty, parents, in the class of 2014. I shouldn't have been here. My last time home in Los Angeles was last year in December. I remember driving in the car with my mom, listening to the beats of California echo through her Terrier red Toyota, riding down Crenshaw Boulevard. I remember looking out my window and seeing a father teaching his daughter how to ride a bike. A pink bike with the sparkling strings on the handles. I watched as he held onto her until she sustained her balance. And then finally, when he was confident she could ride, he gave her a push and let her go. She stumbled, almost lost her balance, and then down the street she went. It was beautiful. Now, you are all probably wondering why I was so caught up in this moment. And it took me a while to answer this question as well. We were all seniors when this happened, enjoying our last winter break as undergraduate students. And I remember this father and daughter seemed to be running through my mind the entire day. Then I realized it reminded me of my entire college experience. This is our college experience. Whether you were the one riding the bike or the one letting go. I hope to give you all an insight onto why BU had such a profound impact on my life. And maybe this story of this father and daughter will mean as much to you as it did for me. I was never supposed to be at Boston University. I was never supposed to give this speech. Statistically, I was never supposed to be in college. I am an African American woman, born from a teenage mother and parents who never graduated from college, grandparents who barely graduated from high school, and grew up in a neighborhood where people attend funerals, not college graduations. My parents never let that stop them from providing me with the best childhood and schooling they could provide. I eventually made it to high school when I was awarded every high school senior's most precious gift, a full tuition scholarship. Mine came from the Posse Foundation. Being the first one in my family to go to college, and soon to graduate from college, I hope, I was not well-versed in many colleges. And so I decided, out of my options as a Posse scholar, I would choose the school furthest away from home and in a well-known city. Boston, here I come. I had been eager to break away from home for years, and I was finally able to do it. I was not supposed to be here. I stumbled. I stumbled and fell flat on my face as I went through my first year here. As I look back on that year, I remember the nights I spent crying, the many calls I made to my family in hopes that I would feel like I was home again. I did not realize how difficult it would be when my parents finally let me go. My transition to BU was not ideal, but it was much needed. Classes were overwhelming. Subjects that I blazed through in high school seemed foreign to me. Not only that, but I was my own worst enemy. I gave up before the fight even started and blamed my circumstance on the reason why I would not succeed. It took a while for me to change my ways, but I did. I started using my unique story as my motivation to succeed. I made a promise that I would aim for all unlikely possibilities. This promise landed me all the way to Shanghai, China, through the BU Study Abroad program. Finally, I was supposed to be here. This is what BU is all about. Unlikely possibilities. We have all accomplished something we never could have imagined for ourselves. I realized that everybody at BU had a unique story. Everybody struggled in their own way. But the common denominator that I took away was that we overcame these struggles together and as a support system. We were supposed to be here. We sit here now, college graduates of this illustrious university, and we have lots of people to thank, especially our support system. My parents, similar to the dad I saw, had finally let me ride this crazy bike ride to BU and trusted that I could ride out with a degree, even when I could not see it for myself. Think back. Think back to those days you felt like giving up. Think back to the nights you pulled all-nighters and wondered if you would ever make it to this graduation ceremony. Well, look at you. We are all here. Somebody, even if that somebody was a friend or a cafeteria worker, had the confidence in you to keep going. To those people who were our support system, look at what your love and care has gotten us. All the money, all the money you sent us that we promised we would pay back if we got a job after graduation. All the care packages you packed so uniquely to our needs. Every I love you to get us to the next day. We would not be here without it. To every student who hustled across campus to help a friend in need, lent a shoulder for somebody to cry on, or the best gift yet, a swipe into the dining hall. To every faculty member who stayed late just to assure us that we could do it. Your support got us here together. We have been through so much as a university and as individuals. I hope you are all proud of the battles you have overcome as students. I hope you recognize what a gift you have been to others through your time here. This is a hard road, and this faculty is tough. This is a hard school, but we are ready for anything. Remember what makes you special and cling tight to your unique story, because that is what is going to make this class of 2014 great. We are different. We are not your typical students, and we do not want to be. This class, well, we are simply BU. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gilbo. I now call upon Dylan Kaplan, a graduating senior from the School of Management.
Thank you, President Brown. Today, we begin our lives as alumni of Boston University. We look back on our college years, recalling the great bonds of friendships made and reflecting upon those who have touched our lives as our mentors. Boston University has given us so much, and it was our turn to give back. The members of the class of 2014 are proud to donate in honor of our mentors, our classes, and our favorite student groups, be it our varsity and club athletic programs, our Greek life community, our admissions ambassadors, or my personal favorite, BU on Broadway. These gifts will allow future students to enjoy those unique BU experiences that were available to us. This year's class gift campaign was distinctive, with a giving day that goes into the record books and 2,169 participants. We have successfully surpassed last year's effort. Woo. This was due because of our committee members, my fellow chairs who have become great friends in the process, as well as the overwhelming support of this class. President Brown, we are proud to contribute now, and we look forward to contributing in the future to support our great university as active alumni in the future. On behalf of Boston University's newest alumni, I am thrilled to announce the 2014 class gift for the amount of $53,971. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplan, and thank you, the class of 2014. The class gift is a tangible expression of your commitment to Boston University. This commitment began when you first enrolled as students and is confirmed today as you move into the ranks of alumni. In the life of a university, faculty come and go, presidents come and go, but alumni are its constant, the unending link of its past, present, and future. I am pleased to present Mary Belitza, President of the Boston University Alumni Council, who will speak to you on behalf of the Alumni Association. Ms. Belitza.
Thank you, President Brown. Congratulations, class of 2014. On behalf of your more than 300,000 fellow BU alumni, I offer our most well-deserved congratulations on the completion of your degrees. And to the parents and family members here today, I thank you. You have nourished well the newest members of our alumni family. We'll continue to help you take it from here. Graduates, no, that doesn't mean you can come live in our basements. It does mean that you'll find alumni in 185 of the 196 nations around the world, ready to listen to you, ready to help you in all your pursuits and endeavors, wherever they may lead. I know some of you have already made those connections with alumni. Continue to do that at every turn. The most unassuming introduction might blossom into the most amazing opportunity. With graduation comes uncertainty. That's a good thing. I truly hope your lives aren't too certain. You are well educated, you're prepared to explore great ideas and tackle amazing challenges. You won't always be right, you won't always win. But in the words of Robert Kennedy, only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. When you fail, your new family will be there to help you. When you succeed, we expect you to be there for others, for your family, for your community, for your world, and yes, for Boston University. I was a scholarship student. I could not have come here except for the largesse of Boston University and its scholarship money. One or two of you might be in that same category. I don't know where my donations and scholarship dollars will lead someone, but someone had the faith that I would make good of theirs, and I hope you'll think about that when you make it. Today, your status changes from student or terrier in training to the newest member of the Boston University Alumni Association, entitled to all the attendant rights and privileges of that membership. For example, you have earned the right to wear a scarlet robe and a flat hat in public. You have earned the right to repay your student loans. You have earned the right to spend several more years in a graduate or professional school, or to compete for a job with many of the other 2.7 million college and university degree recipients graduating this year. And you have the privilege of hanging a Boston University diploma on your wall. Hang it up. You'll be pleased with the attention it gathers. Be proud of it. You have earned it. Don't let anyone ever take that pride away from you. I know that you know that Boston University is better regarded today than it was when you applied. Join me and your fellow alumni in ensuring that those to come after you can always be proud to display a BU diploma. When Dean Elmore introduced me at the senior breakfast, he noted that you can't spell my name, Bellezza, without BU. You also can't spell BU without you. Congratulations, Godspeed. Good luck.
Thank you, Ms. Bellezza. Teaching is an art. It is also one of the most important functions of a university, as it helps to mold the next generation of informed citizens and creative thinkers, many of whom are here today. The late Dr. Arthur G.B. Metcalf, an alumnus, faculty member, and trustee, founded and endowed the Metcalf Cup and Prize for Excellence in Teaching at Boston University to recognize great practitioners of this art. Candidates for the award are nominated by members of the Boston University community, and a committee of faculty and students then submits its recommendations to the university provost and to me. It is indeed difficult to select a winner of the Metcalf Cup and Prize because all of the candidates are outstanding. 2 finalists in the competition will receive the Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching. Will Dean Benjamin Juarez of the College of Arts and Sciences please present the winner of the 2014 Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching?
President Brown, it's my distinct pleasure and honor to present Professor Terry Everson winner of the 2014 Metcalf Award.
Throughout his 15 years at Boston University, Professor Terry Evanson's international stature as a trumpeter has been equaled only by the joy and commitment he inspires in students seeking to carve their own niches as performers. In Professor Evanson, students have at once a front row seat to an artist in his musical prime and a champion and critic who challenges them to reach within and become one with the music they play. Professor Evanson has been called a role model for students who defines the complete musician, motivating those in his classes to push harder as performers while immersing them in active learning through discussion and public performance. Those working to grasp new techniques or remedy difficulties find the teacher accessible at almost any hour with imaginative, tailored approaches that empower them to discover their own solutions. One nominator wrote, "The best evidence of Professor Evanson's mastery of teaching can be heard almost every day in the musical artistry and technical security of his trumpet students as they perform not only here at the School of Music, but throughout our musical community." A frequent substitute with the Boston Symphony Orchestra and the Boston Pops, who teaches courses in trumpet studio, orchestral techniques, and chamber music. Professor Evanson routinely thrusts his students into professional settings as both spectators and participants, exposing them to a standard of sound and practice available to few. For trumpet ensemble, he regularly composes new works, conducting and playing alongside students to ensure that they are concert ready. The performers who emerge are confident beyond their years, many winning international competitions before becoming established artists and teachers themselves. An unrivaled artist, both on the stage and in the studio teaching, Professor Evanson exemplifies the commitment to musical mastery that is continual improvement and to the long-term success of his students that goes to the heart of our aspiration as educators. For this reason, Boston University is pleased to present Professor Terry Evanson the Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching. Will Dean of Arts and Sciences, Virginia Shapiro, please present the winner of the 2014 Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching?
President Brown, I have the honor to present Professor Alan Marsher, winner of the 2014 Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching.
For more than 25 years, Professor Alan Marsher has shaped the way non-science majors approach scientific inquiry, providing a grounding that goes galaxies beyond fulfillment of requirements and instead sparks in students a lasting fascination with the laws of the universe. A champion of in-class discussion and demonstration, Professor Marsher infuses lectures with equal parts Mr. Wizard and science fundamentals, colorfully illuminating questions of astronomy, our origins, and our future. As a world-class NASA-trained scientist in his own right, who directs Boston University's Institute for Astrophysical Research, Professor Marsher knows that many who enroll in his introductory classes may never take another science course. This does not stop him from providing the sort of grounding and experience that will stay with students well beyond final exams and inform their outlook on the larger universe. Writes one student, Professor Marsher engaged the minds of his students and expands not only their worldview, but how they look at themselves, the night sky, and the entire universe. His lectures are not recitations of the textbook, but are instead guided journeys through the cosmos, where students visit supermassive stars and learn that the iron atoms in their body originated in their cores. Professor Marsher's cosmology and core curriculum courses are demanding. They are also memorable. Challenging assignments are punctuated by class visits to the Hayden Planetarium or to the College of Arts and Sciences roof, where Professor Marsher sets up telescopes to view planets, the moon, and binary stars. And then there are the songs about the black hole, gravity, and atoms, which he composes and enthusiastically performs to help clarify difficult material. Renowned researcher, inspiring educator, and gifted ambassador for the thrill of scientific exploration, Professor Marsher instills in his students a fascination with science that cannot be found in any textbook, giving them the tools for a lifetime of discovery. Boston University proudly presents Professor Alan Marsher the Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching. Will Dean Kenneth Luchin of the College of Engineering present the winner of the 2014 Metcalf Cup and Prize for Excellence in Teaching?
President Brown, I have the honor of presenting Professor Stormy Attaway, winner of the 2014 Metcalf Cup and Prize.
For 3 decades, Professor Stormy Attaway's wholehearted embrace of educational innovation has enabled students to approach problem solving in entirely new ways. Often the first stop that mechanical engineering freshmen make as they begin the major, her introductory programming course is perennially hailed for weaving unique software with the continually evolving lecture style to render complex subject matter approachable and even enjoyable. Even before Professor Attaway completed her own PhD here at Boston University, she volunteered to revamp the core engineering curriculum, introducing new concepts designed to give undergraduates immediate engagement in interesting and challenging problems from across the engineering disciplines. She has never looked back. Student evaluations of Professor Attaway's teaching and advising are routinely peppered with words such as transformative, caring, creative, and compelling. Writes one colleague, Stormy's extraordinary commitment to advancing the foundation skills for all our freshmen is matched only by her extraordinary capacity and effectiveness to serve as a long-term mentor to her students. I can think of no one who has touched more BU engineering students during the last 30 years. Other colleagues are no less complimentary. As the College of Engineering's Director of Curricular Assessment and Improvement, she enthusiastically works alongside them to help perfect their approaches to engineering instruction, while often employing upper-class undergraduates in her courses as learning assistants, itself a training in leadership. The result has been generations of students, fellow faculty, and future teachers across disciplines forever fascinated by the teaching and study of engineering. Instructional innovator, steadfast standard bearer, and generous mentor to countless students and faculty over the years, Professor Attaway is that rare teacher and leader who continues to grow, to learn, and to inspire in both students and herself, a relentless devotion to excellence in engineering. It is with pride that Boston University presents Professor Attaway the university's highest teaching award, the Metcalf Cup and Prize for Excellence in Teaching. We will now present the candidates for the university's honorary degree. Will Trustee Ryan Roth Gallo escort our honored guest to the podium?
Mr. President.
Trustee Gallo.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present Mayim Bialik for Boston University's honorary degree.
There have been many instances throughout the history of performance when it has been difficult to separate a character from the actor. It is, we believe, safe to say that there has never been a case in which one might have difficulty remembering whether it was the actress who had the PhD in neuroscience or the character who had the PhD in neurobiology, or vice versa. To clarify, we know that Amy Farrah Fowler is a neurobiologist, and you are a neuroscientist. We also know that Dr. Fowler is a delightful character and a wonderful caricature. We further know that you are a delightful and wonderful actress and a worthy example for all geeks, nerds, actors, scientists, serious students, mothers, and other well-rounded men and women. While a teenager, you played Blossom on television. You helped the generation of adolescents, many of them in front of you, better understand the challenges that occur as one grows into adulthood while coping with the expectations and demands of friends and family. It is not uncommon for a child actor to go on to higher education, and after Blossom, you began college, pursuing your passions that ranged from Jewish studies and Hebrew to neuroscience. And you continued on to earn a doctorate in an exceptionally demanding and important field. From teenage star to a holder of a PhD, that path is an uncommon one, and your successful journey along it is most impressive. Your life beyond the camera in the university is also impressive, from playing a lead role at UCLA Hillel to writing books on parenting and vegan cooking. Rather than working as a researcher, you chose to act so that you can have more time with your children. Mayim Bialik, actress, scientist, role model, you entertain us and you inspire us. Boston University is proud to confer you the Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. Will Trustee Andrea Taylor escort our honored guest to the podium?
Mr. President.
Trustee Taylor.
Mr. President, it is my honor to present Michael Brown for Boston University's honorary degree.
When you were a law student, you had an opportunity before you to step into a fast track to material success. Instead of courtrooms and corporate boardrooms, you chose a different path, and in doing so, you have achieved a much different and richer success, the kind that one can only attain through a lifelong devotion to community service. You have said that as a child you were touched by the idealism you saw throughout the nation. Even amid the turmoil of the 1960s, you saw idealism in the civil rights movement and in the program to land an astronaut on the moon. Later, as an undergraduate, you had an internship with a congressman who proposed a voluntary national service program. That bill did not pass, but that did not stop you from embracing such an idealistic notion. You and your law school roommate took that idea and outlined a program in which a young person could sign on for a year of service in order to tackle some of the many serious problems facing our communities. You envisioned a program in which young people would improve the lives of others and in doing so, enrich their own characters. Thus was born City Year, which also served as an inspiration for AmeriCorps. Since then, more than 18,000 City Year alumni have given more than 29 million hours of community service in schools and communities around the country, in South Africa, and in the United Kingdom. This accomplishment is a measure of both your passion and your ability to imagine what should be and to turn it into reality. Michael Brown, idealist and problem solver, cities throughout America and other nations are in your debt. Boston University is proud to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Will Trustee Robert Hildreth escort our honored guest to the podium?
Right here. Mr. President.
Trustee Hildreth.
Mr. President, I have the distinct honor of presenting Bill Cosby for an honorary degree of Boston University.
Half a century ago, you released your first comedy album. On several of its tracks, you performed the voices of Noah and God, and even the sound of Noah's saw. When God introduced himself, Noah's reaction showed the mind of a justly skeptical theologian. Right. When God commanded Noah to build an ark, he showed the mind of an eminently practical engineer. What's an ark? How many people, now gone gray, wore down the grooves of their LPs in that non-digital, pre-YouTube era, playing your albums over and over? That generation, in all sense, remain enthralled to your comic genius. To call you a comedian, or even more broadly a performer, would be woefully incomplete. You are well known to the public as an actor, writer, and producer. Above all, you are an educator by word and by example. You have shown that it is never too late to complete an interrupted education, and that by achieving at the highest levels of all that one undertakes in a lifelong endeavor, and that it is not just a pinnacle to be climbed along the path. Whether you portray a tennis coach engaged in espionage, or a wise family patriarch, your characters are people we like and admire. Your work with children's television is more than entertainment. It is a collection of well-thought-out lessons on important issues in life, from respect to relationships. And when you address important issues of the day, you speak fearlessly and from the heart, as when you call upon people in America to do a better job of raising our children. William Henry Crosby Jr., performer and educator, we are grateful for all that you have done and for all that you continue to do. Boston University is proud to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Hey, hey, hey.
Oh, God. All right. Will Trustee John Howe escort our honored guest to the podium?
Mr. President.
Trustee Howe.
Mr. President, it's an honor to present Nancy Hopkins for Boston University's honorary degree.
As is the case with the research of our most outstanding scientists, your work will endure and contribute to an ever-increasing understanding of fundamental questions. The insights and answers that you have wrought in your laboratory through painstaking labor, rigorous application of scientific methodology, and creativity contribute to progress today, and they will serve as foundational building blocks for years to come. You also stand as a model for a scientist who is unafraid to carve a unique path, one marked with turns and direction that a more timid researcher may fear to take. From studying DNA to studying RNA, and from working on RNA tuna viruses to working in developmental genetics. You have produced an extraordinary body of work, one which any scientist would be proud to claim. By itself, it would be a remarkable career. However, your work outside the laboratory has been equally impressive. Some decades ago, you observed that not only were women scientists few in number, especially in tenured positions at your institution, but that resources made available to women scientists were typically significantly less than those given to their male peers. Faced with these observations, you did what any good scientist would do. You and a group of colleagues gathered data and conducted a rigorous analysis. Armed with incontrovertible evidence, you brought these findings to the administration. As a result, you were named, along with a certain former provost, to lead a council charged with addressing the issues you had identified. This effort spread across the country and helped ensure that future generations of women in science will work unhindered by gender bias. Nancy Hopkins, scientist and advocate for equality, Boston University is proud to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Will Trustee Alan Leventhal escort our honored guest to the podium?
Mr. President.
Trustee Leventhal.
Mr. President, it is my distinct honor to present Rajan Kilashand for Boston University's honorary degree.
The campus of Boston University has changed a great deal since you were a graduate student at the School of Management 4 decades ago. And some of our more recent changes have been made possible by you. We are honored to have you back on campus as a member of the Board of Trustees and one of the most generous benefactors in the history of the university. You are one of the world's exemplary business leaders, having transformed a family trading company into a diversified transnational conglomerate with operations ranging from engineering and construction to natural resource exploration and production. The extent of your successful business activities around the world is a measure of your entrepreneurship, hard work, and character. Another measure of your character is found in your own personal philosophy. You have said that it is the karmic obligation of the human soul to participate morally and ethically on the path of duty that brings wellness to humanity. You do this with an unparalleled commitment to philanthropy that ranges from health and literacy programs in Asia and Africa to the Kilachon Honors College at Boston University. Many would be surprised to know that if someone were to tell you to go fly a kite, you would take that as an excellent suggestion. You are a person of diverse interests. One of them is an avid enthusiasm for the sport of kite flying, and you are the host of an annual kite festival in your native Gujarat. Your passion for learning across many disciplines, from astrophysics and art to jazz and international relations, has fueled the uniquely integrative and discovery-based approach to learning in Kilachon Honors College. Rajan Kilachon, alumnus and trustee, business leader and benefactor, lives around the world are made better by your industry and your generosity. Along with the first graduating class of Kilachon Honors College, Boston University is proud to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Will Trustee Robert Knox escort our honored guest to the podium?
Mr. President.
Trustee Knox.
Mr. President, I have the distinct privilege to present for Boston University's honorary degree the Honorable Deval Patrick, Governor of Massachusetts.
Your grandmother gave you some simple advice. Hope for the best and work for it. Clearly, you took her advice to heart. You have shown all of us that hard work coupled with exceptional ability can enable an idealistic young man to pursue the American dream with manifest success. You were raised in the south side of Chicago, where the streets and even the schools can be dangerous. With hard work, you earned a scholarship at the age of 14 that brought you to an elite boarding school in Massachusetts. And continued hard work sustained you through college and law school. In a multifaceted career, you've served in government, corporate boardrooms, and law firms. You spent a year in Sudan working for the United Nations. In all of your endeavors, you have been mindful of the rights of the common person, the responsibilities of businesses, and the role of government in the pursuit of justice and the protection of the public good. Working with the NCAA Legal Defense Fund on voting rights cases in the 1980s, you sued the state of Arkansas and its governor, Bill Clinton. Less than a decade later, President Clinton showed his admiration for you by appointing you Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights. In your first run for office, you successfully took on the establishment of both major parties and became governor of Massachusetts. You have said that this is the state in which you have found support and opportunity. You have repaid us amply through exemplary leadership during a period of economic turmoil. Your continued support of education, infrastructure renewal, and innovative industries has made Massachusetts strong. You created the billion-dollar Massachusetts Life Science Center, which will repay dividends for generations to come through a stronger biotech industry in Massachusetts. In addition, we will never forget your strong and compassionate leadership during the events following the Boston Marathon bombing last April. Governor Deval Patrick, Governor and adopted son of Massachusetts, Boston University is proud to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. I now call upon Governor Deval Patrick to deliver the 141st commencement address of Boston University.
Chairman Knox and members of the Board of Trustees, President Brown and members of the faculty and staff, fellow honorees, distinguished guests, proud family and friends, and most especially worthy members of the Boston University class of 2014. Congratulations on reaching today's milestone, and thank you very much for having me. The main event this afternoon, of course, is getting in hand, really conferring the degree for which you have worked so hard, and I realize I better not be in between you and that for very long. Seriously, giving a commencement address is a high honor but a tough assignment when you know, as I do, that few of you are listening and none of you will remember a single word I say. I should say, even if you remember who your commencement speaker was. As if the challenge of being both brief and memorable was not burden enough. Imagine how unnerving it was for me to notice over someone's shoulder just the other day a USA Today headline that read, quote, "A good grad speech is the one not given." I don't know if I can get away with saying, hey, hey, hey. But I will be brief. For the benefit of your parents and grandparents and the banks that lent you the money to pay for tuition, I want to certify confidently and enthusiastically that you graduates are very well prepared. I know that present here today are future doctors and lawyers, biologists and engineers, soldiers and social workers, nurses and entrepreneurs. There's some loud communicators over here, too. I expect that there are some who will have more than one career in the course of your working lives, and I hope that whatever you choose to do, you do it with integrity. There is so much emphasis on education as a pathway to a good job, and I get that. Given the changes afoot in the economy and in the world, education will be the key to your success and ours as a nation. But your education here at BU is about more than preparation for being good employees. It's also about preparation for being good citizens. Good citizens take an interest in people and issues outside themselves. They understand community in the old-fashioned sense, where you see your stake in your neighbor's dreams and struggles as well as your own. They inform themselves about what's happening in their community. They volunteer. They listen. They take the long view. They vote. Good citizens don't just live and work in a community, they build community. And I have to tell you that given the level of personal engagement that good citizenship requires, I've been wondering and worrying whether this kind of citizenship is in jeopardy. Because I keep encountering young people who at some critical level are not engaged, not really present. My daughters are in constant touch with each other and their friends by text. In the case of my younger daughter, she has a right thumb that seems to have a life of its own, flying over the tiny keys, typing in that special texting shorthand, sometimes even in entire words, almost as fast as she speaks. She can do it looking me right in the eye while I'm talking with her. But when she does this, she's not present. I know a young man, smart, insightful, wise beyond his years, who spends his days constantly shifting his attention from one smartphone to another, to his desktop and his iPad. He sends text messages, reads and sends tweets, checks his email, surfs the web, all while you're standing in the same room talking with him. In all the time, over all the years we spent talking with each other, I realized I hardly know him at all. He was there, but not present. My staff never attend meetings without their smartphones and check them frequently during the discussion. When I'm in the meeting, I ask for their undivided attention. So they wait until I look away and then steal a furtive glance at their BlackBerries. They assure me otherwise, but they are not present. Modern society is awash in information and grappling with how to make the most of social media. It is a force in casual communication, in business marketing, in celebrity. It transformed politics in my first campaign, in Barack Obama's, and in many campaigns since. But does it help us to connect as human beings? Does it enable us to be present? Sometimes when driving in the car, I look up from my work and ask the name of that special teacher we met, or perhaps who starred in some old TV show. If the state trooper driving me that day is closer to my age, he will start to wonder aloud along with me and add some personal recollection on the subject. Meanwhile, the young, always helpful aide who is always with me checks Google and announces the answer from the back seat definitively, and that is the end of that. I tell him that asking an open-ended question is what used to be called conversation. Sometimes the open-ended question is not about getting to the answer, but rather about the journey, and Google has little to do with that. Real human connection, the nuance of empathy and understanding is often more gradual and elongated than Twitter. It requires intimacy. And I worry that the demands of constant communication and infinite information through social media are crowding out intimacy. Social media, as we have seen, can start a revolution, but can it bring peace? You can break up on Facebook or text, but can you also fall in love? My wife and I have been married 30 years this month. Several weeks ago, we had a rare Sunday without any plans, and we spent the day reading, just reading. We sat with our books in the same room, reading silently to ourselves, getting up every once in a while to fetch a cup of tea, but mostly speaking not a word to each other. We both commented later what a wonderful day it had been. And I am certain that there was more intimacy sitting wordlessly together in that room than if we had spent the same time apart sending constant emails and texts to each other. I'm not the dull, middle-aged Luddite I sound like right now. I'm sorry, the middle-aged part is accurate. I actually love the convenience, reach, and flexibility of social media. I understand the power of social media to bully or to stir a movement for good. And I have to tell you, I laugh at the number of times someone of my vintage asks if they can take a selfie with me and then hands the phone to someone else to take the picture. For the parents and grandparents here, it's not a selfie if you don't take it yourself. My point is that human intimacy still matters. That's how we build trust, how we convey kindness and grace, how we love, how we heal the world. The human intimacy still depends on looking someone in the eye, touching them, actively listening, being present. In the days and weeks after the marathon bombings last year, we were all reminded how few degrees of separation there really are between us. Surely the loss of Lingxi reached deep into the psyche of this community. But the fact is that those losses and that senselessness touched the familiar and the unfamiliar alike, because we each knew someone or someone who knew someone who was directly affected by what happened. One of the duties I assumed, as did other public officials and hundreds of private citizens, was to comfort the survivors, our neighbors and friends. That wouldn't work by text or tweet. It demands intimacy. Whether healing an individual or healing the world, healing itself requires being present. So promise me this one thing. Sometime today, put your tablet and your smartphone aside, look your mom and dad in the eye and tell them you love them. Hold your roommate's hand and tell them you appreciate them for helping get you through to today. Acknowledge the person you came to know only in your waning days here, how sorry you are that it took all these years to discover that the person you thought was such a jerk before turns out to be such a kind and interesting person. Thank one of your teachers in person. Be present and see what a difference it makes in your lives and in the world. Congratulations, graduates. Good luck, and God bless you.
Please be seated. We now present the candidates for degrees.
Mr. President.
Provost Morrison.
Mr. President, I have the honor to call for the presentation of the candidates for degrees as recommended by the faculty of Boston University's schools and colleges. And to all the candidates for degrees, as your school or college and your degree are called, please rise and remain standing until all the schools and colleges have been called.
Mr. President.
Professor Delheim.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the inaugural class of Kilachon Honors College Scholars.
Mr. President.
Dean Moore.
Mr. President, I have the great honor to present to you candidates from the Boston University School of Theology recommended for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Theology, Masters of Sacred Theology, Master of Divinity, Master of Theological Studies, and Master of Sacred Music.
Mr. President.
Dean Upnaja.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree as recommended by the faculty of the School of Hospitality Administration.
Mr. President.
Dean Hutter.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Science, and Doctor of Science in Dentistry as recommended by the faculty of the Henry M. Goldman School of Dental Medicine. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Master of Science and Master of Science in Dentistry as recommended by the faculty of the Henry M. Goldman School of Dental Medicine. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Certificate of Advanced graduate studies as recommended by the faculty of the Henry M. Goldman School of Dental Medicine. And, Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Doctor of Dental Medicine degree as recommended by the faculty of the Henry M. Goldman School of Dental Medicine. Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Dean Steckity.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the master's degree in social work and the candidates for the PhD degree in social work and sociology as recommended by the faculty of the School of Social Work.
Mr. President.
Dean Meenan.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Master of Public Health, Master of Science, Doctor of Public Health, and Doctor of Philosophy degrees recommended by the faculty of the Boston University School of Public Health.
Mr. President.
Dean Antman.
Mr. President, it's a privilege to present the candidates recommended by the faculty of the School of Medicine for the degrees of Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Science, Masters of Science, and Masters of Arts.
Mr. President.
Dean O'Rourke.
Mr. President, it's my honor to present the candidates for the degrees Juris Doctor and Master of Laws as voted by the faculty of the School of Law.
Mr. President.
Dean Coleman.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the Bachelor of Science, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Education, Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies, and Doctorate of Education as recommended by the faculty of the School of Education. There we go.
Mr. President.
Dean Morgan.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, the Doctor of Science, the Doctor of Physical Therapy, the Occupational Therapy Doctorate, the Masters of Science of Occupational Therapy, Master of Science and Certificate of Advanced Studies, and the Bachelor of Science from the BU Sargent College of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences.
Mr. President.
Dean Orez.
Mr. President, I have the distinct honor to present the candidates for the doctoral, master's, and bachelor degrees, certificates, and diplomas as recommended by the faculty of the College of Fine Arts.
Mr. President.
Dean Luchin.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy as recommended by the faculty of the College of Engineering. And Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Masters in Engineering as recommended by the faculty of the College of Engineering. And Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for Bachelors of Science as recommended by the faculty of the College of Engineering. Congratulations.
Mr. President.
Dean Zlatova.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Master of Science, Masters of Liberal Arts, Masters of Criminal Justice, Masters of City Planning, Masters of Urban Affairs, and the graduate certificate recommended by the faculty of Metropolitan College. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Bachelor in Science and the Bachelors of Liberal Studies recommended by the faculty of Metropolitan College.
Mr. President.
Dean Fiedler.
Mr. President, I have the honor to recommend the candidates for the degrees of Master of Fine Arts and Master of Science in Communication as recommended by the faculty of the College of Communication. And, Mr. President, I also have the honor to recommend the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, including Toriana Gilbo, as recommended by the College of Communications faculty.
Mr. President.
Dean Freeman.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy and Management and Doctor of Business Administration degrees recommended by the faculty of the Graduate School of Management. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Mathematical Finance, and Master of Science in Information Systems degrees recommended by the faculty of the Graduate School of Business at Boston University. And finally, Mr. President, I have the distinct honor in this school's centennial year to present the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration on behalf of the faculty of the School of Management.
All right.
Mr. President.
Dean Shapiro.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy as recommended by the faculty of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. And Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Fine Arts, and Master of Science as recommended by the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. And Mr. President, last but not least, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts as recommended by the faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, given to the trustees of Boston University and entrusted by them to me, I hereby confer upon you the degrees that you have earned, together with all appropriate honors, privileges, and responsibilities, in token of which you have been granted diplomas. My congratulations to you all. Before you are seated, I would like you to salute your parents. Your accomplishments are built on the support of your family. Please turn to face them and acknowledge once again their role in you reaching your goal. Please be seated. The commencement ceremony celebrates the achievements of each of our students, but it means much more. It celebrates the accomplishments of a great academic community, a community where you have studied and worked together in classrooms, laboratories, and studios. It celebrates not only your accomplishments, but also the efforts of the faculty and staff whose dedication has helped lead you to this marvelous day. On your shoulders rests the enormous responsibility for guiding America in the world and for addressing the substantial challenges we face. You are the future for this university and for this country and for humanity. Among the graduates today are those who are commissioning into the armed forces of the United States. You have chosen to dedicate yourselves to the protection of this country. This university is proud of you and gives you its sincerest thanks. Wherever your tour of duty may take you, Godspeed. To the class of 2014, as you leave Nickerson Field, you join a long line of Boston University graduates stretching over time to include some 306,000 living alumni of this great institution. Your accomplishments will be part of the fabric of our legacy. Your Boston University education has prepared you well. Go into the world and make it a better place. Again, congratulations and good luck.
Will all faculty members, graduates, and their guests rise as Miss Melanie Berbulis leads us in the singing of Clarissima. Words and music may be found on page 105 of your program. Following Clarissima, please remain standing for the benediction.
Keeping the light of knowledge high, long to endure, treasuring the best of all that's old, searching out the new, our alma mater evermore, hail be you.
Father David Barnes, Roman Catholic chaplain at Boston University, will now deliver the benediction. Following the benediction, the 141st commencement of Boston University will conclude. We ask that graduates and guests remain at their places until the platform party, the faculty, and the Alumni Council have left the field.
Let us pray. Almighty and eternal God, whose providence guides us from beginning to end, with gratitude we thank you for the beginning. You are the author of all life. We thank you for the life that was begun in these young men and women. We thank you for those who gave them life, who nurtured them in life, and who have brought them to this day. We thank you for the learning that has begun in them. May they be men and women who pursue and love the truth from beginning to end. We thank you for the virtue that has begun in them. May they live virtuously and thus achieve their perfect end. We thank you for the piety that has begun in them, a piety that humbly acknowledges that you are the beginning and that you are the end. Almighty God, as these men and women come to the end of this significant time in their life, they begin something new. In every ending and in every beginning, may they know themselves to be in the hand of your divine providence, a providence that was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, until the end of the ages. Amen.